Even a
There
lower
it
price
goes, there it goes.
for rent. Oh, you got it? Okay.
Football mind.
All
I
right.
don't think he's a good youth coach.
I don't think you should coach your own kid.
No, but there were a few tantrums thrown last year at his kid and
No
whatnot.
alternates tonight. so
Um,
Packet or agenda?
Kids notice this stuff, you know? So I was like, listen, I don't think he's a good candidate for the job. Now, they told me Vito, who's been my number 2 for the last couple of years,
I didn't even see it.
Vito wanted it. I wouldn't
Same
even say.
thing.
No,
All the minutes.
I'll coach
Well,
with
I don't know if
Vito.
you
Right.
ran them all.
You know,
Right.
but the way they're doing it, now I have to interview with Corey,
All the stuff.
who's our new president,
Oh, I had it, okay.
and Jeff.
Yeah, you got one.
I've coached Corey's sons for the last
All right.
2 years. Coached them in
Don't expect to
basketball
see-
this year when their coach flaked out.
Don't expect to see him.
You
Haven't
know.
seen him in a year, so I would
And
assume.
you're gonna make
tonight.
me interview
Who's
for the
that?
coaching position.
George.
Oh, George Glass?
It's, where is George? It's Doug. Doug
American Way, Del
is,
Valley.
is holding
Like
the
Del Monte.
past president's position that they just made.
Del Valley, like
The past
Del
president's
Valle.
position on the board.
It's Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
Now, at the end of the season, they were
You can just say Del Valley, it's the easiest way. You know, like Del Monte or Del
So-
Valley. That's the easiest way.
Ah, let me
Beat
turn
Red
this thing
Brookfield
off.
Public this year, you know.
7:30 by
Just
my,
Doug and Fran and
Apple
everybody
phone,
checked
so-
out.
I guess we can start. We got enough for a quorum. We got 4 members out of 5. And our no alternates have shown up tonight. Linda sent a note earlier saying she wouldn't show up.
Right.
And Scott Dale, one of our alternates, is on a plane coming back from San Diego. I don't know about the other 2. If you know you're gonna be out, I do appreciate you sending me the emails
Yeah.
like Scott and Linda did, so that we know. Because we end up not having enough, what we end up doing is, I sent out a note saying, we're gonna have to cancel, but that hasn't happened very often. Usually we get 3 or 4. So the first thing we're gonna do tonight is go review minutes of previous meetings. I guess at the last meeting, we didn't have a quorum of votes for February 3rd, but tonight, it looks like we got myself, John, and Mike, who were at that meeting, so that's 3.
Right.
That's all we need to approve a set of minutes. I have no problem with those minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of February 3rd, 2022.
Motion to include?
John has made that motion.
I'll second it.
Mike has seconded. All those in favor?
All right.
I'm
Okay.
abstaining.
Now we're on the minutes of February 17th. I saw something. Just a little workmanship on the minutes. It's not worth going back there to change it. But any corrections, additions, comments on the minutes of February 17th? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept them as submitted.
Motion to accept the minutes?
I'll second.
Got a second from Renee. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right,
Excuse me, can I have you, are you abstaining?
I wasn't here last week,
Okay,
yes.
thank you.
okay. But we got 3. That's
Yeah.
For the
good.
rescue
We're
mission.
good, we're good.
My son got stuck with his car at near Sikorsky Airport.
Of course, yeah.
That's where he works. He was
Oh,
getting ready
okay.
to go. He had to run to work.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the Affordable Housing Plan. I got it right here. Which Greg sent out. I don't know if you've all had a chance to read it.
Mhm.
If you haven't, the highlight, I believe I put a yellow somewhere in the back. I should have put a sticky there, but I didn't do it.
Minutes run this too.
Yep.
I like that.
Action plan, oh, here it is, section 7. Yeah. 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 I thought I wrote mine from home. Yeah. What, I did. No, that's tonight's paper. Anyhow, does it have a number on that page? I'm just looking for a page number so I can get everybody on the same page. Give me a second here. Here it is. Page 9 of 14. Not show on yours. You got page numbers on yours, Mike?
Yeah.
Some copies on. That last section there, it says, the plan to achieve these goals include, and if you haven't concentrated on them, you may want to reestablish it, because it sounded like, to me, the plan was halfway decent, it was good. And I think this is good enough for us to now make a motion to this get submitted to go further forth. I know Greg wants to present this to the selectmen in April.
You said page 9?
Of 14,
Of
this,
14.
Otherwise known as page 16.
page 16 of 27? Okay, okay. That's, okay.
You got it?
Yep.
That whole last section has the goals. And I thought he did a good job on that, to be honest with you.
I think he did a great job.
Hmm?
He did a great job.
Yeah, I thought he did a great job.
I agree.
Yeah. So anyhow, on my page. Oh, here it is, okay. I'm looking at that one.
I
down.
know,
Oh, okay.
right, it's two that's right, that was the confusion.
That's the confusion.
Yes.
Okay.
We're all on the same page now, I think.
Now we're on page 16 of 27, okay.
Right.
Right. No, I have no problem with it, and these things seem that they may be doable in the future.
Mhm.
So I think Greg is looking forward to go forward and have this plan approved so it can go forward to the selectmen for review and then from there to the state. I think it's in good enough shape to do that. So I'll entertain a motion that we,
I just have one quick question.
sure,
The moratorium about the
sewer.
sewer, that
That's
has
cool.
nothing to do with this, correct? Or
Well, we
does?
can't, nothing to
have
do
to
with
sub-
it in the sense that a lot of these things can't go forth until the sewer issue is resolved.
Right.
So, but,
So I mean, if.
and
like-
also there's another moratorium that's being reviewed and is gonna be resubmitted. There's a moratorium on the whole affordable housing. That has been basically put on hold. The state refused our submission, but they're redoing the submission right now.
Okay.
So that we may have a couple-year moratorium on affordable housing. So, but as far as the plan itself that he has got going right now, John, we have to assume that, I know that the WPCA and the other people responsible, the Board of Selectmen and so forth, have been working to try to get a new agreement with Danbury to get a
More capacity.
more capacity. Or restore the capacity they took away. That's really the whole problem. Because we had sufficient capacity, because over the last few years, every time there was a major project that came in that required sewering, we would have WPCA in here telling us how much capacity it would take, because we didn't want to approve anything that was going to hinder development in Brookfield. And they always were saying, oh, we got another 20%, we got another, they always said we had sufficient. So when Danbury just cut it off like that, It was a big shock to everybody. So, as far as the plan goes, I'm going on the assumption that they're gonna take care of, there's either gonna, sewer moratorium will eventually be lifted. And when it is lifted, this will be a suitable plan. So,
Okay.
you wanna make a motion? Somebody wanna make a motion to, approve the affordable housing plan as submitted by Greg Dombrowski,
I'll make the motion.
and, he should be able to forward it to the Board of Selectmen when he's ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'll second.
You got a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right. Okay. Let me get my notes back together here. We're now on minutes of other boards and commissions. I think I got it. I made some notes myself here. The zoning meeting, and there was a economic development. Zoning meeting. That zoning meeting came in on the 10th of February, 7 PM, okay. And one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that they are working on outdoor dining again. Rochelle was involved with that conversation. And it looks like they're trying to turn it back on April 1, April Fool's Day. Why not April 2nd?
Well, Mr. Chairman, if I may, Rochelle Hosler for the record, the land use director. So the issue with the outdoor dining is that the state made a public act that said that they wanted to continue the outdoor dining that they had been doing during COVID as of right. And so the big hubbub was that if we don't have new regulations in place and zoning, then can people just, as of right, put tables in the street?
Okay, they're looking,
So
they're looking to formalize it before it was under an emergency act.
Right. Have to tighten them up a little bit if we needed to. If they're fine the way the state has written them, then we're okay with that. But so we do need to
Yeah.
make sure that.
Yeah, now I understand. Yeah. Great. Also, the zoning, heard the affordable housing presentation by Greg, which we have just approved. They added input to it. It was obvious to me when I read it that zoning input was added into the document. Any other comments from the commission on the zoning commission minutes? Just by the way, before we leave zoning completely, it looks like they're going to approve Twins Barbecue over there on for music again this year. So,
Oh, good.
yeah. Okay. And
They didn't approve their Tapville beer dispenser though, right?
I don't know about the beer.
Because they had the truck out there, but they weren't able to use it.
That I
didn't have
don't
a
know
permit.
about.
Well, that trailer that they have, they bring.
It says Tapville?
Yeah, they bring that on site to various things like my wedding.
Right.
And other things. We had them there for my wedding.
Oh, all right.
So, it's not a permanent, like, they don't use that a part of their indoor dining area that they have.
Oh, I seen them, they had it parked there all the time.
Yeah, that's just, it's a trailer. It's a mobile,
Mobile beer trailer.
yeah. So it's for
It
major
doesn't mean they're
parties and
selling
stuff.
there
Yeah.
at that point, so,
No, I remember going there, he said, no, we don't have a permit to sell it here.
yeah.
Right.
All right.
But they can then bring it to parties and sell it. Well, they don't sell it, they dispense it, that's all.
But no, they sell,
Oh, they sell too?
yeah, they get temporary day permits is basically
Okay,
what it is.
yeah, they can go to zoning for
Through the
that.
state. And,
Okay,
or they can piggyback off of someone else's liquor permit, like a site's liquor permit for using that.
yeah, the other set of minutes, that came in was the Economic Development Commission. And, looks like Branson Ultrasonics and Global Greenfield, they don't want to have any public events at the present time, so they canceled the ribbon cuttings that are coming up. Maybe it'll change their mind now that,
Things are better.
because of COVID has changed. They were doing it because of COVID. They said due to COVID, so I think now that COVID is loosening up a little bit, I mean, if you could have a joint session of the House of Representatives, like State of the Union the other night, nobody with mask, I think they probably could do it, 'cause ribbon cutting is probably, it's outdoors, it's not indoors too. And they also thinking the Linden is talking about having one. That's the assisted living property on Federal Road, the new one, probably in April or May. Yeah. Greg also talked to the Economic Development Commission about the affordable housing moratorium, and he's working with the town attorney on that. He said there are issues with the previous applications, including the application did not include a map, was missing a policy and procedure statement, and he said he's working on this as his top priority. He also gave insight into the Lower Federal Road project, the road widening project, and what's going on. They're getting ready to move 50 poles in the next month or so. And they will be adding 10 bus shelters to town standards with state and federal money along the routes, Federal Road, which would be nice. To see people standing out there in the rain sometimes. Okay. They did have a discussion, the Economic Development Commission, about issues related to recreational use of cannabis and how the EDC in town of Brookfield is going to handle the topic. I think they're also waiting for some guidance from zoning on that one, because and I know we were asked about it at one time, and we basically wanted to see how other towns were doing first and how that was working out before we put our 2 cents in. This has been going around for a while. I mean, it's going to happen. We're going to have recreational eventually.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, the Board of Selectmen is going to consider that, make a recommendation to zoning on March 7th. They're going to take that, they're going to make an announcement.
Yeah. But I think it's one of those things where it's got a bad reputation, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll have a public hearing, so.
Yeah, I think it's going to be,
But there is the opportunity for a moratorium for a year, which is probably the way.
they'll probably go with that way. Okay, we're ready for informal discussion, I guess. Anybody have comments on Economic Development Commission? Okay. We're down to the informal discussion. This morning, I attended a funeral for a past economic development member, economic planning development. I'm doing Joe Biden now. John likes that one. Anyhow, no, we had a planning commissioner who served this committee about, I believe, 10 years or so, Dick Pavona, Richard Pavona. He was chairman for about 6 of those years. He passed away this week, and they attended his funeral. And I thought it might be a good idea, as present planning commission would send his family a sympathy card, so I got a sympathy card here, and thought maybe we all could sign that tonight.
So he served before Hal Kerfis, right?
Yes, he did. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little background on it.
Thanks.
In 1987, I joined this commission as an alternate. Dick was chairman. Dick invited me on after I had quit. I was chairman of the Economic Development Commission.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get any money from the town to do things on the economic development. We wanted $5,000 to do some simple publications, and the town wouldn't pass, they just cut us right out, no budget. So we had no budget. What am I doing here? Especially in economics, you gotta do some advertising, you gotta put things together. Anyhow, I was talking to Dick. At that time, we were still doing, they had the over 35 softball league.
Mhm.
Dick and I were well over our 35 at that time, but we were still playing and getting our aching muscles. And talked to him about possibly going on planning, because planning at that time had all the action. Planning at that time was doing 3 subdivisions a week. It was not getting done. Their meetings were going to 11:30 at night, because we had all that subdivision activity. And a lot of public hearings going on. It was quite a hectic and chaotic time in the town of Brookfield. And at that time, our bylaws weren't really truly in place. I know Dick had me work on the bylaws with him at that time, to get that going. We did some regulation changes because we were starting to see the problems with the developers trying to do a little bit, so we did regulation changes. So a lot of what he did, part of our legacy. And the fact that he passed away, I thought it was, to me, he was a personal friend, so I went. But I think doing this is proper tribute to him. So
Mhm.
thank you for signing.
Thank you for making suggestions. Thank you.
So that's my topic for informal discussion tonight. I'll entertain any other informal discussion, things you want to talk about.
Can we talk about the recreational marijuana thing for a minute?
Sure.
Now, what is the town's position at this point in time?
At this point in time, I believe that they had a moratorium where they didn't want to go forth with it. I know that as a commission, we had a discussion about it, and we passed it on, and we said, we want to see what other towns, how they're handling it first before we jump in with our regulations. So and I don't know, really, there aren't very many legal marijuana, recreational marijuana shops in town. I mean, Bethel has medical
Right.
over there, but it's one of those things where I think Michelle's right. We'll probably go for a moratorium until we see how it's really playing out. I mean, if anybody wants marijuana, it's very easy. Just go over the state line right now into Massachusetts. It's right there. They've got big billboards in Connecticut advertising where you can buy it in Massachusetts. So
It's literally 3 minutes over the board.
Yeah.
I don't smoke. I just know a ton of people that do.
no, but
Now, my question is wouldn't we want to maybe get out in front of it and set the tone for our area? Because if we're looking to see what other towns are doing, other towns are also looking to see what other towns are doing.
true.
Now, it's coming, whether we like it or not. I don't smoke, I have a CDL, maybe back when I was 19, 20, that was a little high up there. I used to smoke, and it wasn't legal, it wasn't ever gonna be legal back then. And then I got my license.
But you didn't inhale, did you?
Like somebody we heard about, yeah, I remember that one.
But I'm on the mindset that we should be ahead of the game. And basically, because if we start adopting what other towns are doing, there's gonna be stuff in it that maybe we don't want. And I know we can adjust
Well,
it somewhat.
All we can do is, like, whereas we're gonna talk about where you can place. We're not gonna be able to stop it. You're gonna have zoning laws, where can you place it?
Right.
How far away from, school should it be? How
Right.
far away should it, from, it's like how you
Like-
handle liquor stores right
Right,
now.
like bars and liquor stores.
Yeah,
is
it's gonna
basically-
be, I envision the regulations to be very similar to the way we handle liquor. That's the way I look at it, I mean, maybe we only allow one recreational shop. In this town, we allow 4 liquor stores. That's all there is.
No, there's more than 4. There's 2 right by my house.
Liquor stores,
Right,
not beer stores.
right. There's the liquor store right next to LB's Barber Shop. And then a half a mile up the road from that, you have Village Liquors. And then
The one by ShopRite.
you have the one by ShopRite. And then there, what is the one still up on Candlewood Lake Road by,
It's
Abbey
not,
Road?
it's not there, but they're coming back. They-
Okay.
Coming back.
Yeah.
but like, at one
Maybe
point
you're
there
right.
were
I could
3
be
by the
wrong,
4
but
corners.
the number was controlled by zoning,
Right.
okay?
The number, the number of liquor stores within, I think it's 2,000 feet of each other.
Yeah.
Is also controlled, so you could, and maybe that regulation, Mr. Van Halen, has been changed, but I don't know about that.
Could be.
four
Right.
I'm thinking
You're
from
right.
back in the way.
Right, but certainly there are regulations, like you can't, they don't want a whole string of them and
Right.
run, because it tends to build up a, kind of element or,
They don't wanna look like the New Hampshire border.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious about that also.
Yeah, no, but that's what's gonna be, that's how it's probably gonna be controlled, so how many you can have in town, and where you can locate them, okay? It was just like the same issue, for a while there was the sex shops they were worried about, selling,
Adult novelties.
yeah, adult novelties, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that you don't want to talk about too much, and you don't want the kids to see. But it was allowed by state law that you could do it. And we did have one store in town for a while. Wasn't very successful, it went out of business.
I guess
but-
it's gone, right?
I guess people in Brookfield aren't interested in sex, so I don't know. A lot of old timers, I don't know, you tell me. But anyhow, it wasn't successful, but they did have it, they did regulate it. It's gonna be regulated by zoning regulations, how it's gonna be regulated. And I think it's very helpful that zoning has talked about it in the past, because they've put it on their agenda several times to talk about it.
I think Newtown also had a moratorium on it. I think I read about that.
I think what
somewhere.
you're gonna see is,
For a year.
like
or
Bethel
whatever.
only has one shop, and it's medicinal right now. Maybe they'll let that one medicinal shop also become recreational, who knows?
Well, once recreational happens, you're gonna see a lot of people drop their medical cards. Just because the medical card was the way for people who couldn't sleep or eat, got their cards so they could smoke
Yeah, well-
marijuana.
Well, I think
Yeah,
that,
and there are people that do use it for like anxiety and stuff like that. I understand that there are medical, but a lot more of your medical marijuana cards were for people to be able to use it recreational.
well, it's gonna be, I think, 20 or 30% tax on it, so
Wow.
people that have the medical cards will probably keep them because it's gonna be 20, 30% more each time you buy something.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a big tax, and I was reading something, and the medical marijuana places cannot be recreational. They can't be both. Has to be one or the other.
Okay.
That makes
All right.
sense.
Different laws.
Different laws.
Different
And I know
laws
you
regulate.
can't have a pistol permit
Right.
with a
Yeah,
medical
they don't-
marijuana card.
Right.
No, that's not, I don't think that's,
No, that's a friend of mine had to turn his pistol permit when he got his medical marijuana card. And that was
I wasn't aware of
about
that.
less than a year ago.
really.
Yeah,
He got a letter
Wasn't
from
aware
the
of that.
state,
yeah, it's a rule. Yeah.
so.
Anyhow,
Yeah,
any
no
other
worries.
topics for informal discussion?
No.
No, hearing none. You want to take Linda's place for now?
Sure, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second there? Oh,
I will
John,
second
John,
that.
you were quick on that one. Okay. All
See you
those
guys
in
in
favor?
2 weeks. Aye,
Aye.
All right,
See you in 2 weeks.
yeah. Maybe we won't freeze to death.
watch your leg,
3:30 in the
you're
morning
getting
from
tangled in the
Berlin.
wires here.
Quick on the
Okay,
draw.
thank you.
Right leg.
Thank you, Mike.
I see this moving over here.